So the first one is the nonlinear system. So the problem that I chose was to solve the system by graphing. Check your answer. The equation that I chose is this one: y equals x2 minus 7 and y x minus 7. So in graphing this equation, we need to find the parabola. So in order to find the parabola, we need to find first the axis of symmetry in the form of negative b over 2 times a. So we're going to substitute it by using this equation: y equals x2 minus 7. So the b here is nothing, since the b is nothing. So we're just going to write negative 0, and then 2 times the invisible 1, so 2 times 1, and the negative 0 divided by 2, and so it will be going to be 0. So that's the axis of symmetry. After finding the axis of symmetry, we're going to find next is the vertex. So in finding the vertex, we just need to substitute the axis of symmetry to the x. So the axis of symmetry is 0, so squared minus 7. 0 times 0 is 0 minus 7, and it's 7. So the vertex is 0 and negative 7. After finding the vertex, we're now going to find the y-intercept and the other points. So in order to find the y-intercept, we just need to look at this equation, where is the only number that doesn't contains any x. So we see negative 7. So that's the y-intercept. Oops. Negative 7. Or we can just block this out, and so we got the negative 7. Okay, the other points is we're just going to substitute any number. So I'm going to think of number, so 2. We can use 2. So 2 squared minus 7. 2 times 2 is 4 minus 7, and so it's 3. So the other points is 2 and negative 3. Sorry, it's negative 3. 2 and negative 3. After getting all points, we're now going to get our parabola. So the axis of symmetry is 0. So we're going to draw a line here, 0. And so the vertex is 0 and negative 7. So we're going to have a dot in here. And the y-intercept is negative 7. So we already have it, negative 7. And the other points is positive 2. So 1, 2. And then go down 3. 1, 2, 3. So here, we're going here. And then we're just going to reflect it by 1, 2. And then 1, 2. So here. So this is our parabola. Oops. So we're now going to get the line of the number. The line like this. So in order to get the line, we need to analyze first the equation yx minus 7. So we can see the slope is negative 1. And the y-intercept is negative 7. So you just need to remember that negative 7 is the starting point. Meaning, if you when you're graphing, the first thing we're going to graph is the negative 7. And so the 1, or we can write it as a 1 over 1. It means it is a rise or run, meaning if we graph it, we're going to rise up 1 and then we're going to run 1. Now, so after having our parabola, we're just going to need to remember that our starting point is negative 7. And so we're going to have negative 7 here. And we're going to have the slope 1 over 1. So meaning we're going to go up 1 and then rise in 1. And since this slope is positive, so the line must be going to be like this. So we're going to graph it. So 1, rise 1, and then run 1. So it's here. And then we're going to draw a line. So it will be going to be like this. And then after that, we can already identify what are the solution. So we can see here that the line touches here. It's in negative 6, so we can have, or the x is negative 1, and so the point, or it's positive, I'm sorry. So 1 and here, so it's negative 6. And the other one is it touches here, 7. So we can see that the x is 0. So the solution is 0 and negative 7. After getting the solution, we're just going to check it now. So in checking, we're just going to substitute the x. What is the x? The x is negative 1 and 0. And so the first thing we're going to substitute is this equation or this solution. So we're going to substitute the x is 1 squared minus 7. So 1 times 1 is 1 minus 7. 1 minus 7 is negative 6, which corresponds to this. So that is correct. 0, we're going to write 0 and negative 7. So we're going to substitute them. Y equals to, or 0 squared minus 7. And so 0 times 0 is 7 minus 7. And the answer is 0 minus 7 is negative 7, which corresponds to this one. And so this is correct. So the solution is 1 and negative 6 and 0 and negative 7 to the equation y equals x2 minus 7 and y equals x plus or minus 7.